And welcome into Track 'em Tigers. I'm your host, Jay Coulter, and I'm joined as always by the coach, Ron Nelson. Auburn takes on Kent State this Saturday from Jordan-Hare Stadium. Kickoff time at 7 o'clock. You can watch it here on ESPN2. Coach, Auburn 21, Tulane 6. It wasn't pretty, but like we said before we started, it was a win.
It was a win. I kind of felt like we was going to be in trouble. Friday night, I got to talk to Coach J.R. Grimes, or J.B. Grimes, excuse me, J.R. But I got to talk to J.B. He was at the Central game and looking at some recruits, and he talked about that, the Oregon game took a lot out of them.
Yeah.
And not only that, they didn't get back in town until 5:30 the next morning. And he said then they had to, they do everything Sunday as far as the day after a game.
Take Monday off.
And they take Monday off normally, and then they practice Tuesday. And he just said that Tuesday it was like pulling teeth, and in this hot weather, it's been so hot, and so I thought we was a little sluggish. No excuse, it was sluggish. It was hot on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
But I knew Tulane was better, but we got to play better. Yeah. And if we're going to expect to win the games that's down the road, there's going to be a lot more bigger ones. But it's a win. You typically get better the second game from the first. I didn't think we'd do that. Maybe we'll do this week against Kent State.
You talk about talking to J.B. Grimes. He's been the talk of the Auburn media boards and everything else all week. Everybody talking about the lack of an Auburn running game, certainly in the first half especially. Like you said, 8 people in the box. They were going to, and we're going to see that with a freshman quarterback. They're going to take that run away every chance they get.
Sure, I thought they had an excellent game plan. They played basically an Okie front, an old 5-2 back to like in high school. And they pinched their tackles. You're not going to run the inside zone, and that's what our bread and butter is. They had the 2 linebackers. They rolled the safety down. They got 8 in the box. The thing that I'm disappointed is we should have had the quick passing game, and I think we should have exploited that. Just not bubble screens, but I mean the short passing game. We're going to have to do that, and that way Nick's get it up. Bo gets in a little kind of rhythm. But I mean, everybody said, why did he throw the ball 20-something times the first? We was running into something that we couldn't block, and when you only got 5 up there and they got 8, your odds are not good. Yeah. So, but we got to be able to throw the ball, the quick passing game, and get the vertical game. Now we'll get that 8th man out of the box, and then you got back a chance.
Well, here's my question. I know that's what everybody's asking is, Auburn makes great adjustments in the second half against Oregon. They made great adjustments last week. They start moving the ball in the second half. What's taking them so long from the first half to the second half?
I don't know so much if it's, adjustments made at halftime. I think there's just, I'm not going to say hard-headedness, but you kind of stake and you want to think that you can do this. And then you realize, look, we had success with the outside game. We run the old buck sweep a couple times and got some good yardage. We got a lot of good yardage out of Wildcat. That's just because the numbers games comes back into our favor in the Wildcat. But it's just it was disappointing the first half that I thought we should have put some more points on the board.
Yeah, we know a little bit about this Auburn team. We know a little bit about everybody, but we don't know a lot. We're 2 games in, but the talk all week's been what's going on with the Malzahn play calling. You're hearing it out west with Chip Kelly. Oh, Chip Kelly, the reason he was so successful as Oregon is it took several years for everybody to catch up to him. Now that everybody's caught up to him, he can't coach anymore all of a sudden. UCLA 0-2. You're hearing a little bit about that with Malzahn now. What's going on with him? He can't seem to move the football like he used to. Have the defenses caught up? Does he still have that creativity going? You're a play caller. What are you seeing out there?
The defense, as far as some of the stuff that you're doing, yes, because they've had a chance to see it so much. But is he outdated? No, he's running the same stuff everybody else is running. I think the only thing that I wish we would do better is our route combinations. I think we can do a little bit better job of that. But as far as play calling, no. Everybody, you look back to 2010, we didn't look very good the very first 4 ball games, and then we kind of found our identity. Sometimes you just got to kind of find what you got. And but I mean, he's not outdated. I don't think it's necessarily him. The offensive line. I'm kind of taking up for them a little bit because of the 8-man box. But there again, we have got whipped twice or 2 weeks in a row with a big nose guard. And it just don't seem like, that we can move him, and that's creating, basically he's coming.
340-pound
both games that they have, and then we have not moved him. And basically, by doing that, that nose guard becomes a two-gap player. Yeah. And I think if we could, when we come out, when Tulane came and kind of gave us a 4-man front, we had angles and we did a lot better. But
do you think the line's better than they were a year ago?
I think it's too early to tell.
Because they should be.
They should be. I mean, we had point of emphasis last year. We had a problem at center, and we switched centers in the middle of the season. Then we ended up switching back. It all starts with center. Sometimes Auburn has a problem with a 3-man front. When I'm talking about just the three, not just 3 men, but what they call a 3-man front, a 3-4 instead of a 4-3, because the nose is not covered, and that's just something. But people knowing that they gonna cover it. So I think we got to do a better job in there.
Yeah. Another conversation that's been going on a lot this week is the play of Boobie Whitlow. He continues to get most of the carries. We're seeing Cam Martin get a little bit of mop-up duty last week. Sean Shivers, hardly any carries. And, Malik Miller, I think he's in the witness protection program now. What is it about Malzahn in that he likes to pick his back, and that's his back, and he rides him until he can't ride him anymore?
I don't know. Anyway, it seems that way because, I mean, it's at times like when we had carry on, that's all we had.
Right.
I mean, right now, we've got to develop another back. I like Sean's speed, but I mean, I watched him in the game, and when the pass rush, when he had to block outside linebackers, he was getting killed. Yeah. He's just not big enough to do that. Yeah. And so we got to work him in positions, maybe not on when he's not going to be on, but you don't get predictable now because they know he's not going to be in the ball game, so they're going to throw the football. Right. So you got to kind of work that out too. But I'm waiting for the freshman. I think he's been
DJ Williams.
I think he's been a little banged up.
Yeah, he's had a hip flexor
but Cam can give us a little spurt, but he's not the biggest person in the world. But we're going to have somebody that take the slap up. Yeah. I mean, Boobie, he's not going to continuously to take it. Like I said last week, he can't carry it 25 times every game.
Cam, great running man. He's just not an every down back.
He's not.
But I love the way he falls forward. I mean, that guy, when he's hit, he's always falling forward.
That's the one improvement that I think he made from last year to this year is that he is falling forward. So I think you'll see somebody else carry the ball a little bit more than just Boobie this week.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go to a break. Before we come back, I want to thank our sponsor, Extreme Power Sports. I want to thank Jason Dyer over there. Just awesome people. If you're in the market for ATV, any outdoor equipment, anything like that, jet skis, you name it, go see our friends over there. Jason's just been really good to us over the last couple of years. We're just grateful to have him back as a partner this year. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the offense, and we're going to shift to the defensive side of the ball. You're watching Track 'em Tigers.
She's ready. Extreme Power Sports' very own Polaris RZR Skylifter XP 1000, Trinity Exhaust, Power Commander, 6-inch portals, RZR 3 to 5-inch lift, MSA 20-inch wheels wrapped with 35-inch BKTs, deluxe audio roof, LED light bar, Mud Park ready. We are ready to finance you on this Skylifter right now. Come check out all our off-road machines today at Extreme Power Sports.
And welcome back into Track 'em Tigers. Let's turn to the receiving side. Boy, Seth Williams, that was a loss Saturday night. Looks like he's definitely not a go for. In fact, he's definitely not a go for Kent State, and it looks like he's probably not a go for Texas A&M. Huge loss.
Very huge. Seth had turned into our go-to receiver, and he had the height that he had made a difference on as far as the deep ball was concerned, and he was kind of Bo's, favorite target. When he went out, Bo turned to Hastings a lot, and but we need that big physical presence outside. we got to get him back. You don't want to bring him back too early and just be a nagging injury, and you don't have him all year long. But it's going to be. I mean, it's going to really hurt if he can't play against Texas A&M.
Anthony Schwartz. I mean, that guy's cast. How he's even out there, what purpose he serves. You got to admire him being out there. But cast is supposed to come off. It may not be this week. It may be next week. But still, he won't be 100% for a while. That leaves Eli Stove, which I'm surprised hasn't gotten as many passes as I thought he would so far this year.
Well, Eli's kind of playing in that hybrid in the inside. I mean, outside, when I was talking to Coach Grimes Friday night, he's talking about they really need to get him back. They feel like they get him back with him on one side of the field and Seth Williams on the other side of the field, that they'll have a double punch as far as vertical way to get down the field. And he seems to think that in a couple of weeks he'll be back and be ready to go.
Be ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have I know you didn't have walk-ons in high school. Did you ever have a kicker come over, try to join the team, couldn't kick, but then turns around and becomes the toughest wide receiver I think Auburn's had in a long time? We're talking about Will Hastings.
I would agree with you. He is. I mean, the thing about it was they recruited him as a kicker because he was a very good onside kicker, but he was a pretty good wideout in high school too.
Yeah.
But nobody ever thought that, not at this level. But if you watch the Patriots, and then if you watch them, Will Hastings has got a chance at the Pro Bowl because they like those quick slot guys that can get open. Linebackers can't guard them.
Yeah.
And that's the type of back he is. And I think possibly one day if he'll stay well, that's the key now, is staying well, because he's had an issue with concussions. And
how he didn't suffer one Saturday.
I thought he was dead. I said, oh no, he's gone for the year.
Yeah.
And they said that he came over to the sideline laughing and told Coach Malzahn, he said, they can't hurt me. And but I tell you what, it hurt me watching that.
It hurt me watching it. Yeah. Yeah.
But Will's going to have to be. He's kind of the guy right now that Bo's counting on. But we got to get some other people involved. Yeah. I'm just telling you, we're a work in progress on offense. I don't know how much better we can get. But we got to get better if we're going to have a chance to win some later games.
I mean, this receiving core, this could become an issue here in a couple of weeks, just with the injuries adding up and all that. You got that Matthew Hill, which is a freshman that everybody's talking about, but still a freshman. Of course, I don't guess that matters anymore. They all play them.
Sometimes you got to throw them in the fire.
Yeah. Turning the page to Bo Nix, what'd you think?
I wasn't really impressed. I thought his timing issue was bad, but then again, I mean, you're going to have some games like that. The thing about Bo is that as a freshman, he's leading, and these guys are looking up for him, and he made some big passes when it counted. And I think, I'm not saying nothing that probably Bo wouldn't say. Reading the internet, he was disappointed in himself. But the team was trying to pick him up because he's going to have growing pains like this. It's not going to be smooth sailing.
Yeah.
But I was hoping that we'd get him involved in the short passing game, the 8 to 10 range, and get him some confidence and get everything kind of not packed in the middle where we can run the football. Yeah. I mean, we want to run the football, but you can't be run into an iron curtain.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about Kent State in a minute, but from a test standpoint, it should be significantly less this week, or let's hope so. Hopefully he'll get into a little bit more of a rhythm, because, I mean, as we look ahead to College Station, that's what everybody's measuring against right now.
Well, I mean,
and they weren't world beaters by any means. Clemson took it to them pretty good. That game wasn't as close as it.
And I can say this, and it probably is not correct, but I've always kind of thought that Coach Malzahn, that he kind of holds things back. He's not going to show you anything until he has to show you. Mm-hmm. And you've never seen Auburn start out, even though we've won early. He's won opening day, I think, every game but one.
Yeah.
We won early, but he hadn't shown a whole lot of things. I think sometimes when he wants to kind of spring that on that first conference game is there. Whether we're doing that or not, I have no idea. But that's something that possibly, could be. I kept hearing about the kid from Mountain Brook, the Joyner kid, and
Harold Joyner, yeah.
how much that he was going to be involved, and I hadn't seen him involved a lot. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Joey Gatewood. Man, I just can't get over when I see him walk on that field. I mean, he just looks like a big-time quarterback. And it's just hard for me to get through my head that this guy, we can't find more uses for him except down on the goal line.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought we probably would have seen that last week. Possibly we could see it this week. He's a physical specimen. There's no doubt about that. But I might be a situation that they will want to just give Bo as many reps as they can to try before they get into a Texas A&M type situation. But I still believe that you're going to see that package for Joey Gatewood, but I don't think you're going to see it till Texas A&M.
Yeah. You think it's part of the whole bag, huh?
Nobody's told me that. That's just my own personal belief.
Now, hopefully we don't see that this week, and we're kind of looking ahead. We actually talk about it more next week. But, people on message boards, I mean, a lot of them are just, they say crazy stuff. And Brandon Marcello addressed it on Auburn Undercover this week. You've probably, over your coaching career, had a couple of quarterbacks who were probably close in competition-wise. How tempted are you when things get going, when things are going tough for you to kind of think, well, maybe I need to put this other guy in and take a shot? What does that do to the psyche of the one that you're counting on when we're talking about Nix? That's a delicate thing, isn't it?
I mean, it's on how you handle it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, why is that any different than a running back? Why is that any different than a linebacker? I mean, they play multiple. I believe that in the two quarterback system, I don't believe maybe of rotating in every series.
You don't believe that when they say you have two, if you have two quarterbacks, you have none?
No, I don't believe that. I think Central High School's proven that over the last few years. They played two quarterback systems, and I know it's high school, but diverse to college. But I think, and the reason that Coach Dubose, the reason he told me that 1 year when a starting quarterback got hurt, and we felt like we couldn't win because we didn't have another one. If you've got two ready to play, if one goes down, no panic, the other one's going to take over. But I think, I wouldn't do it every series, but I think I would have it mapped out where he's going to get, maybe two, possibly three, depending how long the half is, series a half, just to give you a different outlook. And I'm sure they got that. I keep reading about they got packages for Gatewood and so forth. And so I think it's possible. I don't see why not, and that you can use two quarterbacks.
It's interesting.
Very.
Well,
the old time you thought about controversy that, oh no, you don't believe in this, you got controversy. It's not controversy. The guy's earned the right to play because he's practiced hard.
Yeah.
And he could maybe have a chance to give you the win. So I have no problem with it personally.
Yeah. It kind of goes back to, you talk about a starting running back. It depends on what package you go out with, who you start. It's not as important anymore, is it?
No, really not.
Important to the fans, but probably nobody else. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to look to the other side of the ball. Man, that Auburn defense just gets better every week. We're going to talk about that. Then we're going to preview Kent State. We'll be back in just a minute.
Razor XP has earned its place as the world's best-selling performance side-by-side. Now, the off-road's most successful Predator looks even hungrier. For 2019, Razor XPs are cut more aggressively. The chiseled muscular style, premium digital instruments, and wicked LED accents all hint at the heart of the animal within. Choose a Ride Command edition with off-road worthy touchscreen that puts total control at your fingertips. Or grab a Dynamics edition and discover the terrain-dominating power of smart suspension. Extreme performance has never looked so good. Build your XP at PolarisRazor.com.
And welcome back into Track 'em Tigers. Coach, let's go to the other side of the ball. Man, this Auburn defense, unbelievable. Marlon Davidson, SEC Player of the Week, second week in a row we've had that honor.
Marlon played a really good ball game. I was a little disappointed right off the bat with our defense. I thought we gave up a couple of big plays on the edge. Tulane's got a couple of good looking backs.
Yeah.
And but we gave up a couple of easy runs, and then one pass that I think we had a busted coverage, and next thing you know, we start playing okay, and then we hold them to a field goal. After that, Jay, it was pretty well lights out.
Yeah. Talk about that secondary. To me, it's the best secondary we've had since Carlos Rogers was there. It may even be better in its totality than when he played.
Well, let me knock on wood. The thing that I've been more proud of, and if you're a true Auburn fan, you'll know what I'm going to say. We have not got the pass interference calls like we have in the future.
Yes.
Or in the past, excuse me.
Yep.
Knock on wood, because that could very well come. But we be able to, we're not playing with much as with our hands as we was in the past. There again, that might be because we hadn't faced no fast wide receivers, So, but the secondary, we've got multiple defensive backs right now. We probably got 5 or 6 playing and moving in and out. I thought McCready, not being a starter, I thought he played an excellent game. You kept hearing his name all the time. It's like they was picking on him because he was the young one in there.
Yeah.
But like I said, he held up and played super.
Yeah. Here's a stat for you. Auburn gave up 103 yards on 34 pass plays.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
When's the last time you've seen something like that?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Just share a couple more with you. I was doing some research getting ready for this tonight, and this defense, I mean, what they're accomplishing. I know that 2 games in, but Oregon was no slouch. Tulane is not the Tulane. Tulane will go bowling this year. I don't think there's any question. Through 2 games, Auburn has not allowed a third down conversion during the second or fourth quarters.
Wow.
And have only given up 6 of 15 in the first and third quarters. Just amazing.
I bet you we've given up probably more third down conversions on the first possession of both games than we have the rest of the games put together.
Probably so. Tulane managed to convert only 2 of 15 third down situations.
That'll win.
That'll win.
But Coach Steele, I mean, we've got a pretty good pattern of substitution where we're really rotating the linebackers, rotating Coach Garner's rotating the defensive line, defensive backfield. I mean, we got, and we're playing a lot on nickel or dime back, our nickel back, and so we're really playing with 5 DBs, and we're working in about 7 to 8 people in those slots, and they really look good.
You're Kevin Steele. How do you prepare for this week as far as playing time? What are you hoping to get out of this? A half a play with your starters, maybe, if the offense puts up what we think they can.
Well, you want to hope that what you got to do when you go into a game like this is you're not playing Kent State. You're playing yourself. You're playing to get better, to improve your craft, the things that you know that you need to work on. You continue to work on those things, and you don't worry about your opponent. That should take care of itself if you're just worrying about that. But that's how you got to treat a week like this.
So, tying a bow on Tulane and kind of getting ready for Kent State, what do you work on this week besides obviously winning the football game? That's
it. I mean, we got to work on we got to be able to work on our short passing game or intermediate passing game if they're going to continue to play the 8th man in the box. I mean, because when you're in a 5-man front and your outside linebackers are walked up and you got a safety that's coming downhill, you got to be able to throw the football because you're not going to run into that unless you go 2 tight ends and full house backfield and then play if you want to play just that kind of football. But we got to be able to do that and get them out of that situation. Yeah. And then when we get them out of that, I think that's going to open the running game up. But I'd like to see maybe Auburn try to get maybe and start instead of running the inside zone all the time, maybe get some counters and some sweeps in to be able to delegate what they're trying to do against us.
Yeah. Makes sense. So talking about Kent State, I'm sure most of you don't know a whole lot about Kent State because I didn't either. I really knew 2 things. They had some big protests there back in the late 60s, early 70s.
I remember that.
And that little short guy over in Tuscaloosa graduated from there. That's the only 2 things I know about them. When I did a little research, I found out Kent State, they come in 1-1, lost to Arizona State 30-7 in the opener. Last week had to beat Kennesaw State 26-23 in overtime. Not not expecting much of a test, but
Well, what you got to do is and go in, like I talked about earlier, and taking care of business. Because if not, then you're going to have a Georgia State on your hands.
right.
And we've seen that before. We've seen that play out when a lesser tier team comes in, and we don't play to our best of our abilities, and then things get awfully ugly.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't think this coaching staff will let that happen.
Yeah. One name of note you'll probably remember, Woody Barrett, one of Auburn's backup quarterbacks, was the quarterback at Kent State last year. Played a lot this year. Apparently, he's lost his job this year to a guy named Dustin Crum. But Malzahn said on Tuesday at his press conference he expects both of them to play. Spoke really high of Barrett. So we'll see a familiar name on that side of the
Barrett's got that. He's
side of
got
the ball.
that Joey Gatewood body. Not
Yeah.
quite as big, but he's going to be a big body. But his biggest problem was his passing.
Yeah.
I said that he'll probably come out and throw 200 against us, but
It'll be tough.
But this is just like I said. This is one of these games that you come out and you want to better what you do best, and you want to get better at it, and you want to stay injury free.
Yeah. Have you looked at the rest of the SEC schedule Saturday? It's
I've been so busy. I really hadn't.
yeah. Well, you ain't missed anything.
I don't remember no marquee. Is it Georgia Notre Dame or is it this week?
No, not this week. And it's Arkansas State, Georgia this week, and that may be one of the big ones. If you'll look ahead to that schedule, that schedule the SEC plays the week before the Iron Bowl. That's what it looks like this week. Arkansas State at Georgia, Alabama at South Carolina, which is the biggest name game of the week. But what are we expecting there with South Carolina playing a new quarterback? And
It'll be very, very tough for a freshman quarterback to go in like that. But I tell you what, the Helinski game, kid played a pretty good ball game.
yeah.
South Carolina, they're going. Coach Muschamp's going to have them ready to play.
Yeah.
And he just don't have the Jimmys and Joes to play with Alabama.
Yeah.
So that game will be over by half.
Yeah, and it's at 3:30, so I hope the fans show up. I know in Tuscaloosa they may not show up if it was played at noon because it's too hot up there. Apparently, that's what I'm hearing this week.
Hey, I tell you what, it is pretty hot. I might agree with them.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was pretty hot in Jordan-Hare Saturday night as well. That I have to say that's probably the hottest tailgate of my life. Top 5 Saturday, 100 degrees out there trying to have a good time. It's a young man's game, just like football. I think.
I mean, it's right now. It's just unbearable, and it's not that we've only had a week or two of this. We've had this since July.
Yeah.
And usually when you think about Labor Day, you think about it ain't. It's just kept getting hotter.
I've always said September's hotter than July, and it's proving it.
And it's been brutal.
I tell you, so I went back, after Saturday, and I didn't know if it was just my age or what. I said, when I was growing up, I just didn't remember football games being this hot. So I started going back and I was looking at Auburn's old schedules back in the 70s, late 60s, 70s, early 80s. The reason it wasn't as hot, you probably remember this. Auburn used to start their season in late September.
You're right.
September 20th, September 21st. So that's the reason. It's not global warming. It's called a calendar.
Everything's moved up.
Yeah, everything moved up. Well, again, Auburn takes on Kent State this weekend, 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Be sure to tune in. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
War Eagle.